I'm just taking film.
Okay, can you guys hear me now? This one's working. Okay, welcome to there's always technical difficulties. I'm going to do me a favor. Everyone sitting on the last three rows, I'm going to stand up and move up closer. Scoot in, but don't sit on the last three rows. We're going to scoot. I don't know. You guys are like, oh, more cozy. We have a lot of space over here, and we're going to try to bring it in a little bit. Thanks. So I was going to use this like fancy barcode scanner to take roll today. It was going to be really cool, and it's just not working very well. So we're going to go old school roll call again. If you can just take a piece of paper, write your student name and ID on it, and then pass it to the aisles. Either me or one of my lovely assistants, which I don't have, will gather it up. So sorry about that. But next week, make sure you bring your student ID with you, because we are going to use this scanner. They're going to be at the back of the room. There's going to be two of them. When you get here, you're going to have to scan your student ID for your attendance. Okay, really quick, if I can have your attention, everybody. Excited. They're excited. There's a buzz. Okay, so I just want to remind you of some opportunities to win some money for your idea. We had our first launch workshop yesterday. How many people attended that? We had quite a few. We had about 20 people there. The launch lunch workshops are going to be held on these dates: September 17th, October 1st, October 22nd. It's a free lunch. We're going to try to get you to take some action on your actual ideas. You get to meet new people, form teams if you need to. These are going to be in the Heritage Room of the Noise Building. It's a little bit quieter there, a little bit easier to do a workshop. And you have to attend one of these workshops in order to enter the Bootstrap Your Business Nights, which are going to be September 19th and October 24th. This is where you can win up to $500 for your idea by standing up, pitching for 3 minutes in front of your peers. Whoever's there that night gets to vote. They vote for their favorites, and you could win money. Any questions on those two things? Yes. How many people enter it? So far, 0. This is the first time we've ever done it. Yeah, so the process is going to be, you're going to have to submit a summary lean canvas to me, and then I'm going to go through and notify people by email, those that are eligible to be our finalist presenters. We'll probably have about 10 or so. So chances are pretty good that out of those 10, you could win some money. Any other questions on these? Okay. Well, my apologies again for the room, and I got to switch it back now. Got to do this. Are you serious? This keeps it's turned off. All right, there we go. Let me put this up here. Okay, so without further ado, I'd like to introduce our guest speaker and speakers today. They've traveled all the way from Orem to be here. Is that right? Made the trek down to Ephraim. But I'm really, really excited that Ben Perkins and his wife Melanie could join us today, because I think you're going to take away a lot of really interesting motivational and inspirational ideas from Ben's story. So Ben played NCAA Division I soccer at the University of Kentucky and Utah Valley University. Any soccer players in the room? I know there's a bunch of you because I read your surveys. According to Ben, he wasn't particularly good. So he decided to start a business to see if the prospects were better there than playing professional soccer. He took the technical performance fabrics from his jerseys and put them into a dress shirt to start his business and collar. His wife Melanie and he met while playing soccer at UVU, and apparently she had a much better career than you, Ben. Is that right? But she still decided to take a chance on Ben and his new business, which is growing every single day. So please put your hands together and welcome Ben Perkins.
I'm going to use this. They asked me to use that. You have a remote. Just while you're. Hey guys. It's like Russ was saying, or Professor Tanner. I'm Ben, and you're stuck with me today. So the U had me speak last week. Only 3 people showed up, so this is way better. I'm already doing a lot better here. And at first I was thinking I was a really good public speaker, and that's why people wanted me to speak. Turns out if I can do it, you can do it. That's kind of what the entrepreneurship directors are saying. I'm so bad at business, and if I could stumble into this one, then you've got a chance. So hopefully that's your main takeaway today before I say anything else. So just before we start, thank you. Has anyone heard of and collar or blue and white collar? Okay, I see a few hands. Do you know what we do? Anyone can just throw it out. This will make me feel really good. Extremely comfortable dress shirts. I like that. I'll take that. So we make dress shirts out of athletic fabric. So Russ was saying I played soccer, and I essentially said, hey, I like my jersey material. Let's put it into a dress shirt and look a little bit more comfortable. Or look better, but feel more comfortable. So here's just a quick video to explain exactly what we do.
At And Collar, we strive to create the most comfortable, affordable, and technically advanced shirts on the market. And we can't wait to introduce you to our newest product. We've created a shirt that repels liquids and stains because you never know what might happen on any given day.
USA! USA!
You might spill your coffee. You might run into an angry fisherman. They're wrinkle resistant, machine washable, and they stretch with you. They also keep you cool no matter what. Oh, and I almost forgot. Each shirt is made out of the equivalent of 15 recycled plastic bottles. We're taking waste out of the world and turning it into the best dress shirt you'll ever wear. Our company believes that fashion, function, sustainability, and affordability shouldn't be mutually exclusive. That's why it's our goal at And Collar to make sustainable performance dress shirts for everyone. First, we created the world's best dress shirt. Now, we've created the best dress shirt for the world.
I mean, you don't have to clap for me. I didn't do anything. So anyways, that's what we do and what we sell, performance dress shirts. And we're expanding, which I'll get into later. But just to tell you how it's going to go for the next 20 minutes, just so you don't fall asleep. So I'm just going to go quickly over my background. I think having some context makes it a little bit more sensible why I got into this. Then into some questions that I would ask if you're thinking about starting your own business and that I asked myself. Then about my business just really quickly, and then lessons learned. And so we'll skim through it because hopefully turn most of the time over to my wife because she knows a lot more than I do. So first off, I wasn't trying to be humble when I said I had a super average soccer career. So I just graduated this spring from UVU with marketing major and a business management minor. I started off, I committed and played a season at the University of Kentucky. I loved it out there. I just went to go watch basketball, to be honest. So I was out there, really liked it, and then I decided to serve an LDS mission, and it's totally understandable. I told them I wasn't going to exercise or play soccer for 2 years, and they didn't want me back. So UVU got a team, and I said, hey, I'll go over there. So that's just kind of quick background. And one other thing, I grew up overseas, so the first 17 years of my life I was in Asia, so Hong Kong, Beijing, and Taiwan. Then moved to Utah my senior year up in Salt Lake. So anyways, the main question is, how did I get into entrepreneurship? So soccer really is the only thing I'm passionate about. I couldn't care less about dress shirts, to be honest. But soccer is what kind of makes me tick. And so the first thing I ever did in entrepreneurship was when I was 13. I saw there were a few soccer players. There was this pair of cleats called the Nike Total 90 Lasers. Wayne Rooney, if you've heard that name, he was the main person marketing it, and they said, if you hit it on this sweet spot, you'll kick it 15% harder. It was a bunch of bogus, but I loved it, and I totally fell for it, and I had my parents buy me my first pair of expensive soccer cleats. So it was $200, and I got really excited. And loved those cleats. But 2 months later, Adidas was pretty good at marketing too. They came out with what's called the Adidas F50 Tune-It. And so you could customize the cleat to whatever you wanted. You could choose the top, you could choose the studs, you just screw it in. And I asked my parents to spend another $200 on me, and they said no, which I'm glad they did. But they said, hey, we can help you get your own money. Or earn your own money. And so they said, hey, if you clean all the toilets in the house, we'll give you $2. So I made it about $8 into it, and I said, this sucks. I'm not designed to clean toilets, and there's nothing wrong with that. It just wasn't for me, and I wasn't very good at it. So I thought to myself, well, I need to raise another $192. How do I do it? And my brother was a web designer, and he already knew that I was wasting all my time online looking at soccer cleats and knew a lot about it. And he said, hey, I'll create a WordPress blog for you for free. Just start writing, and maybe someone will start sending you stuff. So I started writing. I emailed every single company you've ever heard of and those you've never heard of and that are bankrupt, asking for free cleats. I said, hey, give me a free pair of cleats. So I joke, I was an influencer before they were a thing. And so no one sent me anything, and then a few companies that are now bankrupt sent me stuff. And then it grew and grew to the point where I got more free stuff than I wanted, and then we hired people, and so we had 15 full-time writers for us. And this was my highlight. as a 15-year-old, invited to the 2010 South Africa World Cup as a member of the press. And so those two guys are Adidas lead designers, and they designed it was called the Jabulani, which was the ball for the World Cup. So that was my highlight. And that's where I thought to myself, yeah, I kind of like this entrepreneurship thing. And then I sold off that business for a decent amount of money, and then started playing soccer, at least full-time. Then, like I said, I went on an LDS mission. I didn't exercise. I didn't do anything for 2 years, so I came back a very average player. I finished my career, but it wasn't very good. So I came and I was thinking to myself, I want to learn something while I'm in school, and it's great to go to these lecture series. It's great to go to class, but how can I actually learn something and apply it? And so I came up with a few different business ideas. This Wicca Sweat was a logo I designed as a 14-year-old. And the idea there was to put spandex. I loved spandex, so like Sliders and Under Armour. It's when they came out with the turtleneck. When they were getting big. I'd wear it in Hong Kong. It was like 105 degrees with 100% humidity, but I'd wear that long sleeve turtleneck because I loved the material so much. So I said, let's put it in a dress shirt. So that was the idea as a 14-year-old, and you can see that logo. I'm not a designer. There's a woman's shadow coming out one side, a man's shadow the other, and the shadow is actually on top of the main silhouette. So don't hire me as a graphic designer, but that was one of the ideas. One was in the Philippines where I was living for 2 years. They have these things called jeepneys, and they're essentially buses, and you hop on, you pay 2 cents, and it drives you to wherever you want. And I said, well, I could buy 10 jeepneys and take a percentage of every fare that happened. It was going to take me 32 years to make my money back on that one, so I said, that's not it. And then another idea was affordable college student housing. I needed $12 million to start that, so I was like, well, I don't have that. And so I went back to the dress shirt idea. And so Wicca Sweat became blue and white collar, which then was too long for an N to remember, so then it became and collar. Anyways, so that's the background, and I'm sorry for talking so much about myself there. But now these are the questions, if I were you, and the ones that I was going through that I would ask if you want to start your own business. And there's about 5 of them. And I think if you can answer all of these, you've got a viable business on your hands. So the first, what does the problem need? Someone needs to have a problem. Someone needs to have something you want to fill. And so for me, it was dress shirts. I felt like that guy. I think dress shirts are uncomfortable. I think they're scratchy. I think they're wrinkly, no matter how careful you are with them. I think they show all your sweat, the sweat stains. Really, I think they're just terrible. And so that was my problem that I wanted to solve. And there is a picture of me in 8th grade in a dress shirt, really uncomfortable in one. That was also my crush. Her name's Alicia Jatan. So that's part of the reason I was probably feeling pretty uncomfortable. But that's the problem I found. I said, dress shirts, I don't like them. I think they're terrible. So what's the product that will solve that problem? And so the idea was, I want a shirt that acts just like the Utah Jazz or Real Salt Lake material. I want a shirt that doesn't wrinkle. I want a shirt that's moisture wicking, so it doesn't show sweat. I want a shirt that has four-way stretch, that doesn't come untucked if I raise my hands above my head. And I want a shirt that's machine washable, so I don't have to go to the dry cleaners, and one that's comfortable. And so that was the idea, to come out with a shirt that could do all of those things. And I said, dress shirts are terrible. A solution could be a better performance dress shirt made out of athletic materials. So you have a problem, you have a solution, you need someone to actually buy your product, someone that you'll actually market to. And so that's the next question. Who or what is my target demographic? And at first, this was part of my problem. I said, the whole world's my target demographic. Who in here wears a dress shirt kind of frequently? At least once a year. Okay, pretty much every guy. And that's what I said. I said, well, everyone between 12 and 100 plus, that's a guy, owns at least one dress shirt. Statistics say it's 2 or 3 dress shirts you own, and you wear it at least once a year. So I was saying everyone on the planet that's a male could benefit from my solution. Turns out I was way too broad. You're not going to be very successful if you try to market to everyone. You can't be everything to everyone. And so the one we've narrowed in on, and it's started to work a lot better, is the demographic that we say is growing older but doesn't want to grow up. And not like a Peter Pan syndrome, but just you're 25 years old, you're 26 years old, You're getting out of Snow College into your first job, wherever it is, and you need to wear nicer clothes. You can't wear the basketball shorts and the jerseys anymore. Not to point you out, I like the Germany jersey back there. But you've got to change your attire. But you're used to athleisure, you're used to wearing Nike and Adidas, you're used to wearing whatever brand. So let's go after those guys, 18 to 26-year-old guys that can benefit from this shirt and that are wearing dress shirts pretty frequently. So now that we've narrowed in on it, it's going a lot better and going a lot more successfully. And then the two subset demographics that we've looked at are missionaries. So I don't know if you're familiar, but missionaries are the annoying guys that wear white shirts every day. And so they buy 10 at a time to wear for 2 years. And so right there you think to yourself, well, if they're buying 10 at a time, if I can capture one missionary a day, that's X amount of dollars. So that's one. And then the other is we're calling the intern market. So 22, 23-year-old people or college students going out to New York or Chicago or DC or wherever it may be, really metropolitan areas. So then the next question I think you should ask is how to position your product. You've got a problem, you've got a solution, you've got a group to market to, but assuming you're not in a blue ocean or a brand new space, there's probably going to be competitors. So how are you compared to them in your consumer's mind? So I'd be lying if I said there aren't other products that are similar to this, that are made of performance fabric. So here in the top, depending on which way you're looking, the top left, that they sell for $140 and are made of kind of similar materials. And I said, well, that's too expensive. It's kind of similar. They're not made of recycled plastic. They're not made of, or they don't have stain-resistant coating, but that's too pricey for me. Then you've got Brooks Brothers, which is the same price, but it's just made of cotton, so it's a dumb old dress shirt. And then Kirkland Signature, so if you go to Costco, you can buy a shirt there for, I don't know, 20 bucks. And it's not going to be anything special, but it'll be $20. And so we said, hey, if we're the affordable performance dress shirt where really everyone can afford us, but we're priced a little bit higher than, honestly, these kind of junky brands, we might have a sweet spot. And so that's what we did, the affordable performance dress shirt. So think to yourself, how will you position your product? Okay, now I think this is probably where it gets a little more interesting and real for this group. Does anyone in here want to start a business? A decent amount? Has anyone started or is thinking about starting pretty soon? Okay, well, hopefully you get there. One of the big daunting or scary questions is how do you start manufacturing? If it's a consumer product, it's like, how do I even go about starting? So I'm going to give you some really specifics and kind of trade secrets. I hope you don't try to just copy me and do the same brand. But hopefully just to make that gap a little bit smaller. So how do you start manufacturing? My two answers here for you would be, first, there's promotional branding companies. There's a bunch in Utah County. I don't know, is this Sanpete County? I don't know about any down here. But if you drive up just 30 minutes, there's a bunch in Utah County. Prodigy Promos, brand makers, there's a few that if you want to create something, if you want to create a dress, you want to do anything, just tell them what you want and they'll work through it with you. And they do a markup on each product. So they charge a little bit more, but it's less risky. So that's one idea. Another is Alibaba, ALIBBA.com. And what that is it's thousands and thousands of manufacturers in China and Vietnam. And you can go on there, you say, hey, I want to create a jersey. And then you'll get bids from like 20 different manufacturers saying, hey, we can do it, this material for this cost. And if you do that, you'll get a ton of different options. So those are two options for you. For me, what I started with was one of those promotional branding companies. I said, hey, I want to, the honest answer, I took Rudy Gobert's jersey, and I took a dress shirt that I thought looked good, and I went to one of these promotional branding companies, and I said, can we make this jersey into this dress shirt? And so we worked on it. We went through the prototype stage. It took a little bit. The first one was pure spandex, and so kind of like an Elastigirl or it was awful. So you could stretch it from there to here. And they said it was this fabric composition I wanted. So they sent two samples. So 85% polyester, 15% spandex is what we're doing. And on the little tag it said that was 85% polyester, 15% spandex. Then they sent another sample that didn't stretch at all. In fact, if you started to stretch it, it would start to rip at the seams. And it said 85% polyester, 15% spandex. So they were saying it was the same material when it was the exact opposite. So anyways, you have to go through the prototyping phase, and it's not going to be perfect right away, but it'll cost you, my guess would be about $500. So go to that pitch event. There's a lot of free money around. Go to that pitch event, just do an idea, and if you get $500, there's your prototype right there. So that's what we did. We started manufacturing, and they created all these samples for me. I didn't know anything about fashion. My wife jokes that I'm not a very fashionable person, and so I'm not. They narrow the gap. So that's one thing you can do. Then the next question is, how do you start selling? So you've got a product now. How do you sell? So has anyone in here heard of Kickstarter? Has anyone backed on Kickstarter? So it's a crowdfunding thing. So you just have a prototype and you put it out for pre-sale on this website, and you say, hey, for $30, usually I'm going to charge $50. For $30, sell this shirt. I'll sell you this shirt. You won't get it for 4 months, but you're going to help support an entrepreneur. So that's what I said. I said, hey, I don't have a ton of money. Let's see if anyone wants this first. And so this was our Kickstarter video that we made for $800 with a bunch of BYU film students.
The white dress shirt. What can you really say? It's white, it's got a collar, buttons, and that's about it. They're hot, uncomfortable, and somehow always wrinkled. But why? I mean, there's nothing in the white shirt handbook that said it has to be that way. That's why we at Blue and White Collar decided the classic dress shirt needed an upgrade. First, we changed the construction by adding four-way stretch, meaning the shirt moves the way you move, no matter the situation. Next, we made the shirt breathe. After extensive research and experience, we found this blend of material will keep you cooler, drier, and more comfortable. And with our superior sizing system, you'll know exactly how the shirt will fit every time. You want that, I want that, everybody wants that. And when you're done with this shirt for the day, simply toss it in the wash. Pull it out of the dryer and you're back in business. No dry cleaner, no iron needed. We'll also donate a portion of every purchase to Covenant House, a nonprofit that helps homeless teens get back on their feet. We don't want you to sweat the commute, the interview, the date, or whatever important life moment it may be. We made a product that's more versatile, better looking, and most importantly, more comfortable than any dress shirt you've ever worn. The white dress shirt is life's uniform, and with Blue and White Collar, we aren't just crafting a clothing institution. You might say it's a clothing revolution.
So anyways, we did that for $800, put it on Kickstarter. I thought there's no way we're going to be able to keep up with demand. I was thinking we're going to do $200,000. I'm going to have people emailing me every day. Turns out we did $20,000, which was enough to cover what we needed. But it was definitely humbling for me to realize I'm not as good as I thought I was. So anyways, $800, and just to show you, you can make things look good in a pretty cheap and do-it-yourself way. So we went to a friend's neighborhood, that neighborhood we shot in, and it was the hottest day. It was like July 20th or something, 2017. It was 102 degrees. But we knocked on everyone's door and said, hey, we're going to film. Just give us 1 hour. Please don't come outside. And this is what we had to do. So the camera was on the back of this truck, and we pushed the truck so there wouldn't be too much audio. You wouldn't hear the exhaust pipe. Point being, you can do things that look okay in pretty affordable ways. So anyways, I wouldn't recommend doing Kickstarter now, honestly. You can, but now it requires a lot more. It's dominated by a lot of companies that have a lot of marketing dollars. So you can do it. You don't have to. I think there are better alternatives now. And then one question is, how do you manage fulfillment? And by that, I mean, how do you start shipping out shirts? Let's just say you've started to sell your product. How do you start shipping? I had no clue. How do I get my shirt from Orem, Utah to Ephraim, Utah to someone who just bought a shirt? The answer is get a girlfriend. And so I was in a little dorm, and I tried putting 1,000 shirts in there. My roommates hated me, either for the shirts or other reasons, I don't know. But it just wasn't sustainable, especially as we started to grow. We ordered 1,000 shirts, 2,000 shirts, 5,000 shirts, and it wouldn't fit in that dorm. And so I started dating Melanie, and this is her garage. On the left side, that's her carrying shirts in the middle. It's a good thing we're married now. She said she would have burned all the shirts if we broke up. So get a girlfriend you're sure you're going to end up with. That's my answer. So anyways, we're doing fulfillment out of there. So we weren't getting a ton of orders. We'd get an order or two a day. And it's on Shopify. Has anyone heard of Shopify? If you start a brand, my recommendation would go on Shopify. You pay $20 a month. You can create your own website with templates, and it does all the credit card processing. You can list products. It's super easy. That would be my recommendation. And you can also print shipping labels right out of there, which we then every day I'd print off a shipping label and head over to USPS and drop off the shirts. And so that's what we were doing for a year or so. And then Melanie and I got married, and we couldn't afford a garage anymore. She moved out. And so then we got a 10 by 10 storage unit, which cost $82 a month to house 5,000 shirts. Then we outgrew that. Now we've got a 20 by 10 foot unit, and we're about to outgrow that. But point being, you can do, again, super cost-effective ways. You don't have to get a warehouse. You don't have to pay $50,000 for a facility. You can store it in one of these self-storage places for $50, $200, however big you need. That would be my solution. And so now I'm doing this full time. So I still go to USPS every day. Now it's with like 30 orders. We're going to go with it's called a third-party logistics company. So they'll ship it out for us. They'll warehouse it. They'll ship it to you, and I won't ever have to touch it just because it's taking too much time now. But anyways, it's part of the fun. It's fun, and you see, it's a little creepy. But I could tell you, our first 100 customers, I didn't know them, but you see their name, you see their address, and you're cheering. The first one goes out of Utah, it goes to Idaho, and you think, man, we're international. It goes to Boise, and now we're shipping to all 50 states, and so it's cool. But anyways, again, very possible is the main thing I want. So those are the questions I would ask. If you can answer all of those questions for your business or for your idea, I think you can win $500, and I think you can actually start a real business. That's my, your professor may disagree, but I think answer those and you've got something. So where are we going? I didn't put numbers on the y-axis to make us look cooler than we are. I didn't want you to see the real numbers. But things are going really well. So we just raised $250,000. It's in an equity seed round. So it's like kind of like a Shark Tank deal. You say, hey, we need money. We'll give up X percent of the company, and you put money in. The reason we did that was I'd order 2,000 shirts, would sell them, and then it would take 60 days to get the new shirts from China once I had the money from customers. And that just doesn't work because then you're losing sales 6 months of the year. And so we raised this money so now we can buy 20,000 units all at one time, and we won't run out, which is really cool. So anyways, things are really exciting. The question is, how will we grow? And the answer is different depending on what your product or brand is. But for us, we're going to keep growing our e-commerce, so our online direct-to-sales, or direct-to-consumer sales. And you do that through paid advertising, Instagram, Facebook. So if you start to see us on your social media, I'm sorry. I'm not in charge of targeting you, but you're the demographic. So the next one is wholesale retail. So we sell our shirts for half the price to Mr. Mac or different retailers, and then they sell it to consumers. And so we're now in 13 locations, physical locations. We're hoping to get that to 100 by the end of 2020. And the point there is when people feel the shirts, that's when they're usually converted. Because it's one thing to say, hey, I'm creating a performance dress shirt and no one's ever seen or felt one. But as soon as you feel it, it's like, okay, this is a little bit different. So wholesale retail, and then the last one is business to business. So if you work at a bank, we'll create shirts with your logos on it or whatever it is. And we've started to do that. And then the last thing is going beyond just white dress shirts. You can only sell so many white dress shirts. And we're starting to get there. And so we're expanding the product mix. And so here you see some of it. We've got patterns that'll be here in October. We've got pants, performance dress pants. So has anyone in here worn Lululemon pants? Okay, the best things ever. How much did you pay? Okay, they're expensive. So they're $130, but they're the best, literally the best pants I've ever worn. And they really are awesome. I know it's weird to say I like Lululemon for myself, but they create the best dress pants. And so we said, hey, and we got a lot of requests, people saying, if you create performance dress pants that are kind of like that, we'll buy them. And we've got this big customer base now, so we're going to do that. So point being, you don't have to create a brand new product. Just change a little bit, a successful product, and you can do it. And then ties. So stain-resistant, water-resistant ties, so you can see it. You pour soy sauce or salsa on it, it just slides off. Same with the shirts. So that's where we're planning on growing, and we're hoping to do $2.5 million in sales next year, which is really exciting. If we hit that number, my wife and I are going on vacation. So she wants me to hit that number bad. So she's real supportive. So anyways, before we open it up to Q&A, just the 3 things I've learned. The first one, focus, focus, focus. My dad, the first 2 are from my dad. He was a great business guy, and I'd always ask him for advice, and he is the most annoying answers, because these are the only 2 answers I'd ever get. He wouldn't tell me what to do. First, focus, focus, focus. Don't try to be everything to everyone. Just say, hey, I'm this to this group. We're going to solve that problem. If you can just get a tiny little, Mark Cuban on Shark Tank always says it. He hates when people say, hey, if we can just capture 1% of this huge $4.25 billion dollar dress shirt market, we'll be millionaires. You've got to capture 50% of whatever that tiny little market you want to go after is. That's what I think. Don't try to be everything to everyone. The next one, the answer, I'd ask him, hey, what do you think about this? And his answer would be, build a spreadsheet. It's annoying. But spreadsheets will pretty much tell you all you need to know. Tell you if your pricing strategy is good. It'll tell you it'll tell you what you need to know if you build it correctly. What if function is a big thing. And then the last thing, this was my favorite ad growing up, impossible is nothing. So that's David Beckham. And it never made sense to me. I was like, that sounds grammatically incorrect. I don't know what that means. But point here being, starting a business is a lot easier than you think. And I'm serious. If I can do it, you for sure can. I'm very average at most things, and just kind of answered those questions, and now things are going well. So my main takeaway, hopefully for you, is there's a lot of easy and cost-effective ways that are out there to help you start your business. So anyways, we'll open it up for Q&A, but thank you for listening. Oh. My last question, it's rhetorical. I got to put this plug in. If you want your life to change with a dress shirt, should you buy one? Just type snow at our website's andcollar.com. You don't have to buy one, but if you want to, type snow, and that'll be 15% off your order. So anyways, any questions? And if you ask questions, I've got free shirts and free ties to give you if you ask a question. Yes? We've got, repeat the question. Okay, the question was, have we thought about expanding into women's products? We've gotten a lot of requests, and that focus is the main reason. We've found this demographic that's working really well right now, because at first I was saying, especially for the branded business uniforms, we'll need to create women's fit, and so that's going to be in a year. But it was saying, if we're trying to be everything to 18 to 28-year-old men and then women, is that too much? So we've thought about it, and that'll probably be 1 or 2 years down the line. And I'll come up later and choose your product. Or you can come now, either way. Yes? So, good question. I came up with the idea as a 14-year-old, but didn't do anything with it. So I actually started doing stuff February 2017, and then we started selling on Kickstarter August 2017. So 5-6 months, and that was me just doing it part-time, not really going at it. Yes?
So I have a question. When you did your company, did you immediately try to be like the CEO, or did you like spread that out amongst your friends?
So yeah, and come grab whatever you want up here. Question is, when I started the company, did I immediately want to be CEO, or did I spread it out amongst friends? So I started off, but then I realized I wasn't very good at branding and marketing. So those videos you saw, I didn't create those. So I got a few people from the BYU advertising program to come help me. And they were just doing it part-time, but now I brought on a full-time partner who was one of those BYU students initially. So we do everything together. I mean, our technical titles are CEO and COO, but everyone wears every hat. Yeah. Yes.
So a lot of people are scared to shop online because what if the clothes don't fit or what if it's not exactly what they want? How have you overcome this challenge?
We haven't. So the good news is we have had 0 returns for product dissatisfaction or product quality. So that's the good news. The bad news is fit. I mean, and really my initial problem was I designed the shirt just for my body. I've never had a shirt that fits me. And so it's just super, super slim. If you have any chest or workout at all, you can't fit into it. So at first, there were quite a bit higher percentage of exchanges. We've gotten it down to 15% now, and I want it to get lower, of course. That's one reason we're doing those. We're trying to get into physical locations, so you can go and say, hey, I'm a medium slim, then you can go buy online. But honest answer, we've just tried to be very specific with our size chart. So, and I've also found out, I'm kind of losing faith in humanity. No one reads anything. So you can give them the information, and they still probably won't read it. But we say collar size, sleeve length, chest size. We give them everything and then pictures of models in that shirt size. So the answer, we haven't solved it. Yeah.
When you first started manufacturing, I don't know, you talked about all these different companies through China. How did you hear about them? Did you just do a bunch of research or?
My brother. So he did manufacturing as his job after being a web developer, and he just said, hey, these are a few companies. Go to them, and he set up a meeting. And I take my card later if you want. They literally will take anyone in. I mean, it's how they get business. And you can do a minimum order quantity of like 100. You could make socks, honestly, from the same factory as Stance. We're planning on doing that. And you just change the logo, and you can do it for like 250 pieces is like their minimum order quantity for $2 a piece. So you say, well, that's $500. So it's really possible. So if you want an introduction, pick up a card or let me know. Yes?
Have you looked into like how well your quality or your products last? Because I know a lot of, especially missionaries, they sort of a lot more damage than other people.
Sure. I should have brought, our first missionary who went out in August 2017 just came back from Houston, pretty hot and humid. And he gave out all the rest of his shirts, which I think is gross, but they lasted long enough for him to give to people. But we asked him to bring one home, and so I should have brought it, but there's no pilling, it holds up. I mean, you get a little bit of browning in the collar, but I mean, it's designed to be, it's a football jersey material. It's designed to take wear and tear. Yes?
Did you wear one of your shirts either way?
I did, and I didn't iron it. So, and she still married me, so there's my plug. I threw it in the dryer. You throw it in the dryer, and any creases come out. And sorry, I was meaning to pass these two out for you to come touch and feel earlier. I should have done that. I didn't throw those in the dryer. Those are right out of the package. Yes?
So I've seen some of your stuff on social media, and I was just wondering how much you're putting into social media marketing. Any advice on that?
So, honest answer, I'm not very good at that. If you see, we have 1,500 followers or something, which isn't great. I mean, we should be doing a lot better considering how much people like our product. Social media, I'm not good at. So we just actually partnered with a social media ad agency up in Salt Lake. And so they get a percentage of sales that come from them. And so rather than us paying them like $500 a month to take care of us, they get 5% of sales that they bring in. And they know how to do it. So it's something you can learn on your own. I just wasn't good enough at it. So I don't know if that answers. But we're planning on spending about $10,000 a month in social media advertising. And if you break even on that, you just put it back in. Yes, I've seen this hand.
So with your, you said you're going to do pants. Are you going to make them like the stain-resistant stuff?
Yep, so moving forward, everything will be made out of recycled polyester, so recycled plastic bottles, and with stain resistance. Good question. Yes?
How did you come across these recycled materials? How do you make them?
So, again, honest answer, Adidas and Nike, they do it. I don't know if you've seen, so anytime you watch an NBA game, they're wearing, or a World Cup game, those are made out of recycled polyester. And so it's already out there, the technology's out there, and we said, hey, we're using polyester. People ask, so are your shirts like garbage bags because it's out of plastic? Polyester, which is in any, I'm trying to look, that jacket right there, that bright blue jacket, I'm guessing polyester's in that. Anything that's athletic-y is polyester. So anyways, they were doing it, and we said, hey, we want to make an actual positive. I don't want to just make a lot of money. I'd like to actually make an impact on the world. And so we said, Adidas, Nike do it. We went to our manufacturer and said, can you do it? And they said, yeah. Yes?
With the aspects of your shirt that makes it unique, is it something that's patentable?
Yes and no. So there's really little protection in clothing. One, which makes it really attractive to get into because there's no barriers to entry. But it's also really easy to copy once you make it. Kind of. And so we've got a provisional patent pending on a shirt that's made of recycled material, made out of 85% polyester, 15% spandex with it's called a hydrophobic coating. So it's so narrow, you could change the polyester or spandex composition by like 4% and get away with it. So, and last thing, can someone ask my wife a question? I brought her all the way here. Well, one question for her, and then you're out of here.
Okay, what is it?
So are you guys more profitable on internet stores? And like, why did you guys decide to like market Perkins tobacco like this, like missionary house?
Because there was a lot of success. Is that too poor?
A question specifically for a spouse.
Okay.
I know that entrepreneurship is kind of a hard thing. It's like not the most like solid, steady kind of job, right? So what was the hardest part about being married to him? That seems to be.
Great question. The hardest part was just exactly what you said. It's not steady. It could easily not be successful. Just kind of jumping in and being like, okay, yeah, this is successful, we can go for it. But the last thing I'm going to say tying to that is flipping it to the best, and why I said, let's do this, has potential, was because we're so young. And that's the same with you guys. You guys are young, you still have a lot of life in front of you. I didn't want my husband to regret something that he didn't try. And so it was, why not give it a try? Let's see where it takes us. If it doesn't work out, we're 24, we can take a different path in life and be just fine. We don't have any children or family members that are relying on us. So that's my last thing for you guys is, you're young. Don't regret not giving something a shot because you didn't think you could, because you can.
On that note, yes. Thank you. That was awesome. Thank you so much. I know you guys need to run, so if you need to get out of here, you can. If you want to come up and talk to Ben and Melanie after, they're going to be here.
Sorry.